Welcome to another edition of Bearcats All Access. I'm your host, Marshall Kramsky. UC coming off another tough loss against Iowa State. Bowl eligibility still on the line as they get ready to go to the Little Apple in Manhattan to take on Kansas State. We hear from head coach Scott Satterfield about the game plan. Plus, Logan Wilson, a great story about a kid going back to where it all began, trying to get his Bearcats to a bowl game. All that and so much more coming up on Bearcats All Access right now.
Bearcats All Access, sponsored by All Good Home Improvements.
Coach, looking back at the tape from Iowa State, what stood out to you?
You know, offensively ran the ball well. You know, did some really good things as far as offense goes. Defensively, played excellent until the last two drives. Special teams was not our best effort. You know, we did not do great punting the football, covering the punts, and then the other thing that stands out really is the penalties.
What do you work on this week to clean up the penalties?
One of the big things is the false starts. You know, we had 4 from our offensive line that just sets you back 5 yards right off the bat, you know, and really nothing that they did. You know, some of the things that you can live with are, you know, the penalties that are happening in between the whistle, which is the holding. You know, you're being aggressive. You're trying to make a play. You know, that stuff happens, but you know we obviously want to guard against that. We had a couple of DPIs defensively on third downs and were big plays because you're getting off the field and all of a sudden, you know, now you're giving them an opportunity to chance.
Special teams, when there's an issue like last week, Coach Combs, known to be a fiery guy. Do you notice another level from him in a week like this?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, he takes a ton of pride in that, and that's as he should. I mean, you know, as whatever you're having control over is your baby, so to speak, and that's special teams for him, and particularly the punt team, and that's the one he works on so much, and we've been really, really good at it. You know, and it's unfortunate the last couple of weeks we have not. You know, but in these games in the Big 12, it comes down just a few plays. You have to be solid in every aspect, and so in special teams, that is one area that we have been very, very good this year. And the last 2 weeks, we have not. We've lost the hidden yardage. Those are yards that you calculate when you're looking at their special teams versus ours, and we have lost that. We have to get that back, and particularly when you're playing a team this week like Kansas State, who's outstanding in special teams. They've been known to be a great special teams team, and so you know this will be a great challenge for us.
Bring up Kansas State. This is a hungry team that just came off a loss. What is it about this team that you need to be extra prepared for?
Excellent on defense. They're one of the top rush defenses in the country. Historically, they've got a great program. You know, I think offensively, have an outstanding quarterback, dual threat, can run, can throw. Their running back's already over 1,200 yards, I think. You know, he's an outstanding running back. Has some great skill players. The offensive line is big and very good. You know, it's an outstanding football team. You know, they've dropped the last two games in the last 2 weeks, and it just goes to show you the competitiveness in this league. That if you slip a little bit, then the team is going to beat you. You know, again, we have to go on the road. It's very similar to last week going to Iowa State. I mean, it's pretty much a ditto. You know, we're playing at 8 o'clock Eastern. You're going to the Midwest in the middle of nowhere in a hostile environment and a crowd. So, into a program that's used to winning. So, I mean, there's a lot of challenges when you look at this game. You know, but for us, we have to learn off of last week. You know, we played great for 55 minutes. We got to learn how to finish that game, and so it'll be the same. It comes down to mistakes. You know, we have to take care of the football. We have to take care of the penalty aspect, and then just play solid in the 3 phases.
Bowl eligibility on the line again. What will it take for you guys to go out, beat Kansas State, and get Cincinnati back to a bowl game?
We're going to have to, you know, play a very, very good game in all 3 phases. I mean, we're not good enough to go out and play good in 2. We have to be, all 3 phases have to be very, very solid, eliminate the penalties, take care of the football, all those type things. We have to be able to throw the ball this week. We have to be able to put the ball in the air and get some yards in the throw game. And then I think defensively we have to do a better job of limiting the big plays and rallying to the football with this running back. You know, we got to do a lot of things this week, but we can do it and we can get this win.
The Bearcat football season is not over yet, but the future always has to be planned for. We hear about the plan for the next steps for the University of Cincinnati football team coming up on Bearcats All Access.
Keys to Success, sponsored by Columbia Hyundai and Genesis of Montgomery.
Bearcats football season is not over, but the future is something always being planned for by a team of people. National Signing Day begins December 4th, and Bearcats general manager Zach Grant and his team are hard at work with a plan for the future of UC football.
Being able to actually see our roster and know what we needed to compete at a Big 12 level And having, familiarity with Coach Sat. I got here, the first day I ever met him was my first day on the job. So after knowing him for a year, we really were able to get, familiarity with what each other wants, what we need on the roster, to really identify the holes from the perspective of the portal to know what we need to go after.
So within recruiting, it's my role to, once we've identified a guy and, everybody's on board, we're going to get them, to really just put a plan in place and, get everybody on the same page with, how we're going to get our next Bearcat. We want to build these relationships because it's not just the next 4 years, but it's the next 30 years, the next 40 years that, we're going to be involved in these kids' lives and they're going to have an impact on our lives as well.
One of the differentiating factors that we have is an extremely genuine staff. If players get around our staff, they're exactly who they are at all times, and that starts with the head coach. Our motto as a program is effort, attitude, and toughness. And we have a good nucleus of players, and we wanted to empower those guys to really, they've already steered the ship forward, but we wanted to accelerate the motion of that going forward by adding guys to the team and the roster through the portal who are truly the right types of players. We'll give the coaches the guys that have enough talent, and then from there we're digging into making sure they have the right stuff about them. And I think if you ask pretty much every player on the team, this off-season program has been so difficult that the only way we were going to build the team the way we need to is if we got the right guys in here that can go through that.
The Cincinnati Bearcats men's and women's basketball team made their first roster additions for next season. The men signing a point guard and the women having the number 7 recruiting class in the nation, highlighted by Cincinnati and Purcell Marion's own D. Alexander. Both the men's and women's coaches met with the media last week.
We don't recruit anybody we're not excited about, but I am extra excited to get Keyshawn Tillery to Cincinnati. First and foremost, he's a winner. You can talk about all the things that he does, and he does a lot of really good things on a basketball court, but he is a big-time winner. He has a tremendous mother in Bernicia, and she did an unbelievable job raising this young man. He's played for great coaches. Andrew Gale at New Hampton School, Jim Hart with the Albany City Rocks, so 2 great programs at the grassroots and high school level. He's a leader on New Hampton's campus. He's a role model for other students. I really think we're getting the complete package with Keyshawn Tillery. On the court, he's a true point guard. He has the ability to get in the paint, honestly, anytime that he wants. He can get to where he wants with the ball, and he makes everybody around him better. He also has the ability to score the ball and shoot the ball. And then defensively, he is so dynamic on the ball. On the court, off the court, Keyshawn really fits here at Cincinnati. I think our fans are going to love the way he approaches it, the way he plays. He is a relentless competitor. My favorite thing about him is how he wins and the edge that he plays with. He plays with a remarkable edge. To our Bearcat fans out there, we got a big-time winner, we got a big-time competitor, we got a big-time point guard. This is the next one, and we're going to add more. Go Bearcats.
The Queen City, the Natty. We wear black and red with pride. The Seapaw has an energy unlike anything else. Being a Bearcat means toughness, grit, and having love for the game. This 2025 class, they have what it takes. Believers, builders, competitors. The perfect fit. This is for the city. Welcome to the sisterhood.
A full circle moment for one Bearcat who's going to leave his heart on the field in Manhattan, Kansas. I sit down with Logan Wilson on his return to his first school.
Bearcats All Access. Sponsored by All Good Home Improvements.
Coming to Cincinnati, what brought you here?
The coaches, the environment, just being able to come back into the Big 12, and I just felt like this is where I needed to be.
You started out at Kansas State, then ULM, and then you go to North Texas, and now you're here. Why did your journey take the twists and turns that it did?
I think it was actually just for me to grow. I think like Kansas State just wasn't working out for me, so then went to ULM, COVID happened. So grandma got sick, so I moved back to Texas, and I went to North Texas with Coach Bennett and Coach Luttrell. And I think that's where I kind of found my welcome and kind of got my love back for the game. And now I'm here.
Found your love back for the game. What happened?
Just transferring and going into the portal and sitting out a year and coming back, and it was just a lot going on just to play football. So, but once I did find it and just continue to trust God, I led the way, and I'm here right now.
What perspective do you have now on football, being back in the Big 12, having that moment where you had to go home? What does that gain for you as the person and the football player?
I'll say my leadership, just with the freshmen, with the young guys, the sophomores, or the transfers that came in. I just think me going to all those places just kind of filled me into a lot of stuff. Like I done seen a lot of stuff, so I'm kind of aware of like how I can lead the correct way and just, you know, just help people out when they need help, going to class, doing the academics, or doing whatever they need to do. Just be there for them, because I kind of know how the struggle is and how it is.
This year, this program has made a big emphasis on culture, having guys who can be leaders, who talk about it like you do. Do you feel that when you're around this program on the field, that this is culture first kind of program?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, because everybody just wants everybody to be great. And no matter how win-loss is going or how the season is going, everybody's still going to come in and do what they got to do for that day and give their 110%. And everybody is leading from DBs coaching the D-line, linebackers coaching the DBs, linebackers talking to receivers, quarterbacks. So it's actually great. It's a great family oriented, and it's good though, because you need that.
You've been in 4 different Division I college football locker rooms. What's special or unique about this one?
I just think just how well we all know each other, how well we just get along. We be in here from 6:30 to about 8:30 at night every day, like just DBs, linebackers, D-line, and I just think everybody in here is just a special group.
You have a personal full circle moment later today back at Kansas State where it all started for you. What kind of emotions are you going to experience running out to that field in Manhattan?
I'm going to feel joy. I'm going to be joyful, but I'm also just happy I can go out there back to Manhattan with the team I have now. And hopefully we go to Manhattan and get the W and we can bring it back to Cincinnati.
If you can go back to the place it all started and get the Bearcats back to bowl eligibility after the season they had last year, what would that mean to you personally?
I might start crying. For real, but I'll just be so proud. It'll really be remarkable. It'll be remarkable. It'll be a good story to tell.
The Bearcats football voices, Dan Hoard and Jim Kelly Jr., are both in the Cincinnati Athletics Hall of Fame. Hoard in his 25th season, Kelly in his 37th, including a great playing career for the University of Cincinnati. We hear from the Bearcats' dynamic broadcast duo.
When I was a kid, I was the voice of the Buffalo Bills, Buffalo Braves, New York Mets, and Buffalo Sabres simultaneously. The only person that knew this was me, because I was in my bedroom turning the sound down on a black and white TV and broadcasting every game into a tape recorder.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dan Hoard. Tonight from Buffalo, New York. You're listening to...
It's all I ever wanted to do for as long as I can remember. I don't know why. My father was an upholsterer. My mother had a variety of careers. She wasn't in radio broadcasting or TV broadcasting, but for whatever reason, really from my earliest memories, I wanted to be a sports announcer. I went to Syracuse University. I got a job first as a minor league broadcaster there, and then my career kind of morphed into doing TV sports on the 6 and 11 o'clock news. And my then girlfriend, now wife, Peg, was a TV news reporter. She got a job in Cincinnati at Local 12, so I started looking for jobs in Cincinnati. When I moved from Syracuse to Cincinnati, the Syracuse football coach at the time, Dick McPherson, reached out to me just before I left, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to give you a phone number of somebody I want you to reach out to when you get to Cincinnati. He's one of my closest friends, and if you need anything, if you have any questions about the town, the university, or whatever, this person is going to be your guy." That person was Jim Kelly Sr.
My dad played here through 1950, then he was in the service for a few years. He was the head football coach in 1953 to 1960 at Deer Park High School here locally in Cincinnati area. He got the opportunity to come back here in 1960 as an assistant coach. Stayed through 1975, basically my senior year, the last year that I played ball. Then became an administrator here and stayed through the mid-90s.
Jim's dad, who's a legend at the University of Cincinnati. The Hall of Fame is named for Jim Kelly Sr. I met his dad. His dad was the greatest. And then, shortly after that, I met Jim Jr., and we became broadcast partners on the UC games. There's an old saying that the baseball announcer Kurt Gowdy said many years ago, "It's a long season and a small booth." So if you don't like that person, I think you can tell on the air as a listener whether that's a bad relationship. But on the flip side, if those two people truly like each other and are friends, I think that's easy to detect on the air. And I think that's always been the case for me since I've been in Cincinnati.
It really is cool. And, you know, we've all been around as a team. And it's a very, very cohesive broadcast. Don't always win the game, but we try to do it as professionally as we can and make it sound as good to the people that are out there listening as we possibly can.
23-year-old Tony Pike waits for the snap.
I said, this is it. I took my headset off. I put it on the table because I did not want to ruin whatever call Dan Horde was going to make.
So much was at stake. Are they going to complete a perfect season, or are they going to go to the Meineke Car Care Bowl if they lose the game?
Short drop, lobs one down the sideline for Binns. He's got it! Touchdown! Touchdown! Touchdown!
They not only won the game, but they won it in incredible fashion. They came back from 3 touchdowns down. They scored the winning touchdown with less than a minute to go, and the margin was 1 point. That game will be tough to top, no matter how long I do this. It was just one of those moments that every broadcaster dreams of having.
Right underneath Pike the Binns would have been the 2021 Conference Championship game here at Nippert Stadium against Houston. That was incredibly real, and I get goosebumps just thinking about that one.
0 losses, 0 doubt, and undoubtedly deserving of their spot in the 4-team college football playoff.
I'll never forget the feeling that I had before the game. I don't think anybody really thought that Cincinnati would be playing in the Orange Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Peach Bowl, the Cotton Bowl. Like, I had the chills just thinking about what a privilege this moment is.
She lit up the Big 12 in the 100-meter breaststroke, one of the best in the country. We hear from Jolie Cry. Cincinnati swimmer Jolie Cry is second in the nation in the 100-meter breaststroke. She earned a spot in the Olympic trials last year in Indianapolis. Year 2 in the Big 12, there's a lot on tap for Cry.
My name is Jolie Cry. I'm from upstate New York. I'm from Rochester, and I am a junior. Bold, integrity, growth, and I'm a part of the integrity team. So I feel like it's more of a lead by example thing. I kind of do my thing, and I put in like hard work, which I think makes me as fast as I am, and I hope that freshmen that are coming in can see that and like understand what it takes to get to that level. And I hope I can be a leader for them to possibly get them to that level as well. I think culture is is our biggest thing when it comes to recruiting and everything. We have such a strong culture coming from last year. We only lost like one senior, and this year I think when we're progressing, when we're getting faster, it's because our teammates are behind us, supporting us, and that's what makes us faster as a program. Is we have so much support, especially when it comes to those relays when we're all together and we're all cheering for each other. So looking at it from a day-to-day perspective, I'm constantly trying to like learn from my past experiences when it comes to swimming and apply that to my practices and how I can get better overall. But when it comes to my bigger goals, I would like to have a conference win. I would like to A final at NCAAs and just better my times, I guess. I think last year, well, my freshman year at NCAAs, it was kind of my first year, so I was like, oh, I'm here, like it's cool I made it. Last year, being my second time there, it's okay, now I have to perform and do well. So I definitely had a lot of anxiety going into that, but it made me like a better swimmer because now I know how to handle that high pressure situation going into this year, and especially with Olympic trials, I kind of just had fun with that as well, and I ended up doing really well. So I can take that going on to NCAAs this year as how to deal with a high pressure situation but still enjoy it, and that is like, I think that's gonna help me get that A final, hopefully. At Olympic trials, I was in the same heat as Lily King. Like, that's so cool for me to see and be able to compare my stroke to her and just see how she like handles herself and like holds herself in competition. And if I can strive to do what she does then and be in the same like heat as her, like, I can do what she does, you know, and it gives me the confidence to hopefully like keep getting better.
That's all the time we have this week on Bearcats All Access. The University of Cincinnati getting ready to take on Kansas State in the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas. I'm your host, Marshall Kramsky. Make sure to tune in to Bearcats All Access every Saturday at 11:30 a.m. on WCPO 9.